the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome back. We are live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort Casino is the spot. Love this week. On the heels of the national title game, right into the Masters. And then, of course, we have the playoffs right around the corner as well in the NBA and the NHL. But to talk about who's going to win potentially here, the Green Jacket this week, our buddy Jeff Sealey joins the program now on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on X. He is at Cupmaker Jeff, and he's doing a couple of podcasts this week. The Cupmaker podcast, one that I'm intrigued by for sure, is the one you're actually going to be talking to the caddy for Sepp Straka.
Yeah, I had Dwayne Bach on late last week. Great guy. So that one's going to be posted here this evening. And then doing another one where the Sammy P's hosting, myself, Wes Reynolds, and Jeff Feinberg here at a little after 8 Eastern tonight that we'll have on his Chicken Dinner show as well as my Cutmaker show. So looking forward to talking golf with those guys. What a week, guys. My favorite week of the year. I'm really fired up. Okay, for, I don't know, a strong month, maybe more, you've been saying this tournament is all about Ludwig Aubert and winning it. You have, so many tickets on him various ways. It's coming out of your earlobes at this point. Are you backing down from that, or are you adding more this week? I can't back down, and as the price continues to drift, I'm going to continue to add a little more. Guys, he was under 20 last week. Now we're seeing 22. I won't be surprised at all if at some, really sharp shops like Circa, where when guys drift, they adjust pretty aggressively. We might see a 25-26 on Oberg next week. So, on Wednesday. So I'm not keep an eye on that, because if he keeps drifting, I may add some more as he gets up there. Really, the only thing I worry about this week with him is chipping. The course is going to be damp enough early on that hopefully he can hold the greens and doesn't have to chip a ton, because that's really all I care about. I don't think there's any player on tour or live that tee to green their peak game is better than peak Oberg. I just don't. Now, last year he didn't hold the greens, and he lost 2.3 strokes around the greens, gained 6 shots tee to green, gained 8 strokes putting, and finished second. I think if he can at least just chip neutral, he's going to be very, very live. Looking forward to a good ball striking week. Hopefully he got a few things worked out over the last few weeks, because his recent form hasn't been terrific. He won a few weeks ago, but the last few weeks haven't been great. But I'm confident he can dial it all together, and if we see peak Oberg, I think he's going to win the event.
Not only for him, but this goes for everyone. What does it mean that the course, how it means for the players in the course that it's going to be windy and wet?
Yeah, and it's, obviously at Augusta, they're going to dry this thing out really quickly as well as they possibly can. The forecast early on looked like some rain on Wednesday. The wind that I saw didn't look terrible. But, guys, if you recall last year, the wind was brutal and the course was extremely difficult. It was like a totally different ball game out there when it was playing really, really, really hard. I don't think it's going to be nearly as hard as last year. I think they'll have it dried out. Again, unless the wind forecast changed dramatically, there'll be some wind early on, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. I'm not factoring weather a ton into my handicap this week.
All right. So is Aubert like the guy that you're going to go with the lowest odds? You're not going to be on anything with Colin? You're not going to be on anything with Rory or Rahm this year or Scotty Scheffler?
I'm not. No, I'm going to fade all those guys completely. And again, I mentioned a few weeks ago I was going to consider taking a shot on Bryson. I may look live to play him at some point, but I'm passing on him so far as well.
You do want to go with a former winner. Next up on the odds board here, state your case here for Hideki Matsuyama.
I think he's the best play north of 20-1 other than Oberg at this point. I just ran a really super simple model like I've talked about every week, guys. Just use driving distance, par 5 scoring, long and mid irons, and then around the green play. And number one in the model over 24, 36, and 50 months was Hideki. And over 100 rounds, he was number 2 behind Scotty. So former winner, started the year in amazing form, has cooled off some since, but I expect him to find it again the minute he sets foot on property at Augusta. In 2021, he gained in every single category across the board. Since then, he's struggled in at least one category, 22, 23. He gained everywhere except putting. Last year, lost an approach because of the crazy winds. If he putts field average this week, and I expect him to be putting well, I think he can absolutely put on the green jacket 30-1. I think it's a great price, and he's a great ladder play. Top 20, top 10, top 5, maybe the best ladder play in the field, because I think barring a back injury and a WD, his range of outcomes is pretty narrow. I expect a very, very good performance from Hideki this week.
All right, mid-tier, a couple of guys that are popular. Tell us why you like Lowry and Henley.
Yeah, guys, well, he hasn't won this year. Shane Lowry has 7 top 10s since last year's Masters. Big reason he's popular. The only real flaw in his game has been his putting, but as we well know, you don't have to be the greatest putter in the world to win at Augusta. It's hard for everybody. Ask Adam Scott, ask Hideki, ask Scotty Scheffler. The laundry list of Sergio, the laundry list of poor putters goes on. So this is Lowry's 10th Masters, his best finish being 3rd in 2022. You want an in-form player north of 40-1 with good Masters experience? Well, with 3 top 11s or better in his last 4 events, add to this history, you should start that list with Lowry. So I like Lowry a lot at 45-1. And, guys, who has been playing better golf lately than Russell Henley? He doesn't crush the ball off the tee, but he's 55-1 and does everything else you'd want from a Masters champion besides crush the ball. Current form's great. Just won at the API to go with 3 more top 10s in the prior 4 weeks. Nobody not named Rory has better form coming in than Henley. Love him. Again, recent success at the Masters, 4th here in 2023, buoyed by his elite chipping that week where he gained over 5 shots around the green. Plus 125, top 20 for Russell Henley, my favorite play of the week, another guy you should look to ladder.
Honestly, and I bet him back in February, I believe it was, at 66-1. I don't know how with his play this year, Jeff, how he's still currently sitting at 55-1. He could miss the cut. 55-1 to me is a number that you have to bet.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And again, Mitch, to your point, I think plus money top 20 is a terrific bet. Yeah. I mean, his form is just so good. He's played well here. I love him. But, I mean, yeah, and that's a really good price, but not quite as good as 100-1 Sepp Straka.
Yeah, okay. So then you have the caddy coming on your podcast like you talked about now.
Yeah.
And you are you've been on, look, I mean, you have your guys, right, going back several years. It's Koepka. But going back to, I think, like late last year and specifically earlier this year, you were making the case for Sepp almost every single week, right? So go ahead, state your case for him this week.
Well, and guys, I talked about him on the show months ago.
Yeah.
Get your Straka tickets now at 100-1. He's down to 75. But guys, you have to score on par 5s to win this week. You have to. Sepp Straka is top 5 in par 5 scoring. He is an elite long iron player inside the top 10. Won the Amex in January. Since then, has 5 more finishes inside the top 15. Keep in mind, went to school in Georgia, Georgia Bulldog. I will be legitimately shocked if he does not finish inside the top 20 this week. I love him, plus 170 or better, top 20. I absolutely think he can make a run. And another guy I've been on darn near every week, Daniel Berger, 110-1, top 5, 14-1. Oh. A guy we hit at 20-1, top 5 a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I love a 14-1 on Berger. Ties pay full. Doesn't have any real weaknesses in his game. Doesn't crush it off the tee. But aside from that, he's in very good form across the board, and he's just neutral off the tee. It's not like he's a short hitter. Going back to last November, Berger's played in 12 events and finished top 20 in 7 of them. I expect another top-notch performance this week. I'm going to ladder him as well. I'm going to play him in DFS. And then lastly, guys, name the runner-up at the 2023 Masters.
So 2 years ago.
Yep. Who was the runner-up?
Actually, refresh my memory because Scotty won last year in 2022.
Koepka had a 4-shot lead and blew it, and Rahm won. Who took second? It was not Koepka.
Tiger Woods.
Phil Mickelson.
Oh, so I was close.
2 years ago, Phil Mickelson took solo second in the Masters.
Do you recall that?
No, I do not.
He won the PGA in 2021 at age 52,
Yeah.
or 51, beat Koepka in that. So say what you want about Phil. He's 110-1. He can gear it up for these big moments despite being 54. These may be live results, but he has 3 top 10s in the last 5 events. Do not overlook him on your card this week, and do not be afraid to fire a YOLO top 10 on Phil, because I think that's a reasonable range of outcome for that price.
Okay, so do we bet top senior, which I can't imagine he loses, or to make the cut because it's kind of the same price? Should we bet both? What's the better bet top senior make the cut, or because he could actually be top senior and miss the cut?
You hit the nail on the head. That's just it, though, Paul. I think you bet top senior if the price is within a few, a dime of each other, because that's just it. All these seniors could miss the cut, including him, and he could still win. So I think that's the preferable bet at comparable odds. I don't see Langer. He's playing so well right now. If he was just playing awful, his head wasn't in it, I think Phil's just really dialed right now. He's playing well. I mean, there's a lot to like. And the last time we saw Langer, he's out, tag teaming with his son against Tiger and Charlie Woods, and he can't outdrive my kid right now. I mean, Phil should absolutely take care of this thing. The only person, it's interesting, Angel Cabrera just got out of prison. I mean, if he freaking runs down Phil in this thing, what are we doing? So, I mean, we got, and don't get me wrong. I mean, stranger things have happened, but Phil at this price, I think is certainly worthy of both those bets.
My God! So is that the list of guys he has to beat? That's it? How many seniors are in this tournament?
No, there's a handful of guys, but like Angel Cabrera is and Bernard Langer are the closest guys odds-wise.
Oh my God! Okay.
That's what I said, exactly.
I know.
I mean, it's a great bet.
Yep. Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DK. Circa takes huge bets from pro bettors. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN Summer Special right now. Only $59 until August 1st. VSiN.com/subscribe.
More with Jeff Sealey next. Props coming up next. So many markets here available. Eagle round 1, a unique way to bet a hole-in-one prop and top nationality winners.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Great week. We continue here. More Masters bets. Jeff Sealey on the Progressive Guest Line Cutmaker podcast this week with Dwayne Bach, caddy for Sepp Strock. He's also doing one coming up a little bit later on tonight as well. You can follow him on X at Cutmaker Jeff. All right, let's get into some of the props. And you said this earlier, right? The guy on the odds board, the lowest guy that you're willing to start with is Ludwig Aubert at 22-1 in that neighborhood. And also, if you wait, you might get a better price on that. So explain this prop that you found, which book it's at nationally, big guns versus the field, and what you want to do with it.
Yeah, guys, so I like the field minus 160 against the big guns at DraftKings. So you're fading Scotty, Rory, Rahm, and Bryson, and you get the field at minus 160. I do like that quite a bit, actually. And then a few others. I like that one. Others at DraftKings I played. Guys, player to make an eagle in round 1, located under round props on DraftKings. Kevin Yu has the most eagles of any player on tour in the Masters this year, and he's 11-1 to make an eagle. Like you can make eagles on these par fives here, and I like that number. I like that number a lot on a guy like Kevin Yu. I think he can have some birdies and some eagles. He's going to have some bogeys for sure, but I expect certainly some red numbers from him. And then Bryson, fairly straightforward, plus 650 to make an eagle. Again, leads live in eagles this year. We know Bryson can mash it. And, you throw some pizza money on these guys to make an eagle in round 1. Would not surprise me if either or both had an eagle there. And then I just did a fun on DraftKings, make the cut parlay, pays a little over 12-1. Spawn, Glover, we talked about Phil Mickelson, Schwartzel, Daniel Berger, and Patrick Reed. So all those guys who make the cut, a little over 12-1, just another fun kind of pizza money parlay there.
All right. You love Connors. How about top Canadian Connors, like $1.20?
Yeah, no, I do like Connors. I liked Connors last week, and my biggest bet was top 20, and he almost pissed it away. So I like Corey Connors, top Canadian, but honestly, I think I would probably look for a little bit of value there. Maybe, I haven't bet it yet. I may or may not. I don't love Connors as a favorite right now, the way he's currently playing, just even at some of his best courses. So, but if you're going to bet it, I guess I could see you betting that, unless you got a really good price on like a Nick Taylor.
How about BetMGM, top Euro? What's Lowry?
Yeah, guys. Lowry's 12-1 for top Euro. I really like that. I mean, that's a good number. You got to beat Rory, you got to beat Rahm, obviously, but Lowry very within a range of outcomes of him to pay off that. Top senior we talked about, obviously Phil makes a ton of sense there, minus 150 at BetMGM. One I really like, guys, Charles Schwartzel is in form. He's got some live form, but he's got some form. Again, former winner here, has played well. But Zayden Hoot has just fallen off, and Lawrence shouldn't be a big factor against Schwartzel. So top South African at plus 125, Charles Schwartzel. And then I talked about Hideki earlier. I think he really does have a very good chance to win. And we know Morikawa, at the Masters anyway, has a tendency, or actually not even the Masters, even at the PGA Championship last, he's been falling off late, making a charge, and falling off late in some of these majors. Would not surprise me at all to see Morikawa in the hunt and then just have Hideki outrun him. And a dual forecast of top two either order under specials on BetMGM, Hideki Morikawa, 200-1. I will take that. I like that a lot. I think that's again, pizza money bet, but one that I could see actually coming in.
Okay, so do you have to bet at both, you said? Or it's any order there, 1-2?
Right. You bet $10 on it. They come in either order. You win $2,000.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, now you're speaking my language. Hole in one. Let's go to FanDuel. And remember, it happens, I don't think it happened last year, but it usually happens every year on 16. So you want to bet hole in one, period, or just hole in one on 16?
I bet hole in one on 16, yes, plus 115. I think that's the most likely spot if it's going to happen. So I did bet that on FanDuel. I bet Hideki and Koepka to both finish top 20, including ties, 3-1. I like that there. I think it's going to come down to Koepka, obviously. But he seems to be coming in form, so we'll see there. And then on FanDuel, they have these groups. Group C winner, Hideki's plus 270 over Fleetwood, Spieth, Hovland, and Hatton. And I think we all know with those guys, right? What is the range of outcomes of like Spieth and Hovland? Either could win or either could come in DFL. So I think with those guys, I'm gonna go with a little. I mean, Fleetwood's pretty consistent. I think Hideki's better here. So getting almost 3-1, I'm gonna take the most consistent guy in that group.
All right, so how about first-round leader? And you mentioned this, right? You think it's important, and everybody does. Course history here means probably more at the Masters than anywhere else, and that's one of the reasons why you're taking Schwartzel to win the top South African market over Bezuidenhout. How much do you think the history here of the first-round leader, specifically at the Masters, has to play in guys that you want to bet on? And I'll give you an example. Over the years, Jordan Spieth has had the lead 3 different times. That's in about the last decade. DeChambeau and Brooks have done it twice. And Scotty Scheffler has finished in the top 6 in each of the last 3 years for the first round only.
Yeah. So, Mitch, when I think about first round leader bets, I'm really looking for bombs, right? You want a guy who can make birdies and eagles, catch lightning in a bottle like one day, and who may not put together 4, good rounds at long odds. That's why I look at first round leaders. I don't think a Spieth, for example, is going to be long enough odds. So I mentioned Kevin Yu to have an eagle. I actually like him as a potential first-round leader play. I like Sepp Straka a lot as a first-round leader play. And one guy I was looking at a top 20 bet that, for whatever reason, I'm just like, okay, I think there's a path for him to have a good round, is Lucas Glover, just because his wedges are so good right now. I think there's a path there. So 3 guys I'm looking at. I looked at I mentioned Straka. I like Glover, and I certainly think Kevin Yu has a shot just because he can make birdies. Even at Daniel Berger, he's 100-1 pre-flop, probably 80 first-round leader. All those guys I like further down the board for first-round leader plays.
How about a guy who actually, another one, and you're going to get long odds on this, the history here. Now, last year he was 35th, the year before that 13th, but he was the leader in 2021, and if you go back all the way to 2025, he was 2nd, 4th, and 4th in consecutive years. Justin Rose as a bomb?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Another guy who seems to be a common first-round leader is Keegan Bradley, right? Another guy you could talk about first-round leader is a little further down the board, like that mid-range, is Will Zalatoris. He gets out to hot leads. I like him top 10 a lot this week. So Justin Rose is a guy, you're right, but he's got good course history. It would not surprise me at all to see Justin Rose. Again, you're looking at bombs. Robert McIntyre, I think, is another potential guy, lefty that you could see down the board. Maybe a first-round leader play. So there's a lot of them. But if you're going to bet it north of 50-1. You don't want to mess around 20, 30-1 first-round leader bet because again, you can get clipped. You can get clipped on that thing with 3 or 4 guys making it, and then you're like, well, what was the point?
Yeah. By the way, side note: make sure when you're betting the first-round leader, and this goes for the placement as well, right? And you've been big about this, in the last couple of years with us. Make sure you know the house rules. Are you betting a spot that's going to be a dead heat, or are you going to win it no matter if your guy finished number 20 overall and he's tied with 6 guys, you're going to get the full bet.
Well, it's not only that, Mitch, but most sports books now, I think, have done a good job of doing ties pay full in the future placement markets. I haven't seen that as much in the first round leaders, and they're still getting clipped some. And I think it's important to look at some sites, too, that will pay first round leader each way options. I know like Bet365 and a few others do that. Those are really attractive. If you can get some first round leader each way, that's a great way to play.
Yeah, you nailed Min Woo, by the way, a couple of weeks back with us. Do you have nothing on him this week?
You know, it's really hard. I like Min Woo. But you can't bet everybody, and at his price, I don't love him because he's in the same neighborhood as Henley-ish, right? And like, am I going to say Russell Henley or Min Woo? That's not even close.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the time. I know you love this week more than any other. Enjoy it and best of luck this week. Okay.
So take care. Thanks.
All right.
There you go.
Sink, 2022, hole-in-one on 16. Fleetwood, 2021. DeChambeau, 2019, as did Thomas. Hoffman, 2018. Kuchar, 2017. Oosthuizen, Love, Lowry, all did it in 16. Those are all on 16 hole-in-ones.
All right. And by the way, the Cupmaker podcast comes out. He's going to have, again, the caddy for Sepp Straka on it this week. You can follow Jeff on X at Cupmaker Jeff as well. He's been blazing hot for like, what is it now, 5-6 weeks here? 4 outrights, I think, in that time. And some other bombs that came in. I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to have to follow his advice this week with Daniel Berger and have a slice on him somehow, some way. Right now at Circa, he's 135 to 1 to win it. So that tells you that you're going to be able to find some huge numbers on that guy to finish top 5, 10, 15. And so Jeff said he got him at 14 to 1 to finish top 5. And earlier this year, he nailed the 20 to 1 spot on Berger to finish top 5.
He did. Take your betting to the next level with First Bet, whether it's Santa Anita, Gulfstream, or the road to the Derby and Preakness. First Bet puts the action at your fingertips. Sign up now, firstbet.com. Promo code VSIN200. Get a 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Don't miss out. Bet smarter today, firstbet.com.
All right, we'll get into the NBA coming up next. Brian Mahoney has covered the sport for the Associated Press for many, many years, and a lot to talk about with him. Did anybody in NBA circles see this news coming earlier today? And will it be the kick in the pants the team needs because they've been struggling here lately? Find out his answer next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Big news today in the NBA. Busy card tonight as well. And Brian Mahoney joins the program now. He is on the Progressive guest line. He has covered the sport for many, many years. He's at the Garden tonight getting ready for the Knicks and the Celtics, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes. Brian, thanks for the time. As always, pleasure talking to you. Did anybody in NBA circles that you know of figure this was coming today or before the playoffs? The news out of Denver that Michael Malone got canned as the head coach of the Nuggets.
No, Mitch, nobody I read or talk to. I know a lot of people thought it just wasn't going great there. Obviously, they weren't winning lately, and it seemed like there was some unhappiness, clash of heads in the organization. All that stuff happens, but to think they were going to make a move at this time with this little time left in the season in a relatively good position, no, I'm not aware of anyone who thought that was coming.
I thought it'd be Jenkins' part two. I was waiting for, okay, he lost the locker room, or maybe something happened off the court. And then they come out and they get rid of the GM, too.
Yeah, and Pauly, I can see if you say, all right, these guys aren't working well together, I got to get rid of one of them.
Yes.
But to think you're going to make the move right there and get rid of two guys, I don't even know what a GM can do at this point in the season. So there's obviously some kind of thing that the ownership saw that we couldn't have seen, but it still is hard to justify making that kind of move with this no time left in the season.
Aren't they in this predicament because of ownership and not spending money and getting a bench and letting Pope go?
Well, it's a good point. Obviously, you had a championship team just a couple of years ago. You'd like to keep building on that. If they have not done that. They're not. It doesn't look like a championship team. we're not even sure how good a team they would be if not for having Jokic there. So certainly ownership has to take their part. You have to spend and spend and spend if you want to win, and they certainly haven't necessarily done that probably at enough of a level to have a real shot.
Yeah, obviously it's tied into how poorly the team has been playing here in this current stretch of basketball, losing a bunch of games. And no team really can afford to lose games in the Western Conference, seeded like 2 through 7 right now. With the timing of this, is there any chance this gives them the kick that they've needed here moving into the playoffs, in your opinion?
I mean, I suppose, Mitch, it's possible. I guess that's the only reason you can sort of say you're going to make the move. Maybe if they go ahead and look really good for 2 games and they move up and get into a spot where they can be, 2, 3, whatever, and as opposed to falling back to 6 or even worse. But again, it's just such a huge risk. I mean, there's no time to put in a new system. There's no time to change roles. I mean, you're talking, 3 games, and again, I understand you got to feel to make a move. I just don't understand what you're going to accomplish doing it right now.
Would you discount Denver and Memphis then as a result of doing this in the playoffs and just say there's nothing you can do, not enough time, and you're going to go out early in the playoffs?
I mean, it feels desperate enough that I would think I couldn't say that they're going to be able to find a way to make it work in the playoffs. I certainly don't think I'd pick them against teams like, the Lakers or Golden State, who made the moves they made with player personnel and had given it time to work. I think those teams obviously should feel much better about their chances than these teams sort of making desperate coaching moves, in April.
Okay, it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Brian Mahoney, he has covered the NBA for the Associated Press for many, many years. He's at the Garden tonight for the Knicks and the Celtics. This, regular season matchup has not gone well for the Knicks at all. As you well know, Brian, so far this year. There's been some pretty big moves, a big move tonight anyway on the point spread. What's the current status here of the lineups tonight? Knicks playing everybody, I'm guessing. What about with the Celtics?
Yeah, Mitch, the Celtics have a lot of guys listed as questionable. I'm not sure how many of those guys are going to play. I mean, the Celtics sort of barely have a reason to play. I mean, they could theoretically catch Cleveland, but only by numerically. It's not really going to happen. So I could see them kind of starting to shut guys down. And I think the Knicks, they would all, I'm sure, would say they don't need to, but I think they do need to find a way to beat or at least really compete with Boston or Cleveland. They've lost every game. They played both teams this week. Boston has crushed them. So I do think the Knicks want to put their guys out there. Jalen Brunson was out for a while, just came back Sunday. They want to see the whole team play together. So I think we'll see the real Knicks tonight, probably not the real Celtics. And I think the Knicks have a lot of reason to want to go try and get that game if they can. Yeah, very good answer. Who do you think they'd rather match up with in the first round? A hobbled Milwaukee team or Detroit? It's interesting because a lot of people would say, all right, well, Detroit is the team who's sort of the playoff inexperience. Milwaukee has obviously Giannis. You'd rather play Detroit, but Detroit handled the Knicks a couple times. They give them a lot of trouble. And as you say, Milwaukee's not really Milwaukee without Damian Lillard. So I think probably Milwaukee is the better matchup. The Knicks have done pretty well against the Bucks. But again, experience-wise, that's a big difference there when you're talking about a newcomer versus a team that has guys who won a title a couple of years ago. Sure. What were your takeaways last night from the Houston performance and how they lost the national title game? Oh yeah, what a terrible way to lose, Paul. I mean, watching that, I didn't understand the whole last possession. They were losing. You got to try and score quick, I think, because if you don't score, you got to, foul, try and give yourself a second shot at it. To hold the ball till the end just made no sense, and then they held it too long. Look, you can lose a game and just say they beat us, and you got to live with that. But to lose a game that way, you'll never forget. You'll never get over that. And it was a great team who just had a bad ending. Turnover. You're right. Is there a way where Sampson can say, I need to hire an offensive assistant, an offensive guru to help out? Yeah, I think that's something you got to look at because, it's something where obviously they know defensively they can do, play as well as anyone in the country. But offensively, look, you got to be able to get to 70 points, sometimes 80. And against good teams, that's not something they can do. And yeah, I mean, as someone who can help you draw up some concepts, a couple different things, I think it's worth a look because obviously, they are close enough just playing one side of the ball, but to get over the line, it's something that needs to be improved, I think. Yeah. Are you still blown away by what happened in Houston's previous game, how they came back to win, or I guess how Duke collapsed in the Final Four? Yeah, Mitch, that was an incredible one, too, because, we talked about that as writers. We've had a lot of games through the years where, you can sort of feel like a team was coming back. But then when Flagg hit the three-pointer, I said, okay, now Duke is okay now again. And it turns out they weren't okay. That was the last time they scored. So to see a team who had the firepower Duke had, even as good as Houston's defense is, to go that empty was incredible. I never would have seen that coming if they replayed the entire game. I still would have thought Duke would have a reason to win.
Yep. What do you make of Cooper Flagg at the next level?
Oh, I think he's going to be really good. And, we saw that last summer out there with you guys in Vegas, the way he played against the USA basketball team out there. He was beating some of the best guys in the NBA on the court. And, the fact he could do that and now a year at college, I think he's going to be great coming into the league immediately. And I think that's a lot of people's expectations.
Yeah. One more here. Go back to the NBA for a second. We started there. We'll close there. Are you surprised here with the Lakers and how they're going to approach this game tonight? It looked like they were going to sit almost all their guys. And then about an hour ago, it was announced, no, the whole deal, the way it looks, Luka, LeBron, Reeves, others, they're probable, and they might play again in Oklahoma City tonight.
Yeah, I was talking about that on the way in here with somebody. I think, again, they haven't been able to see their whole team together for a long time. Probably doesn't hurt to do it again, and especially, look, the way the standings are in the West, as you mentioned earlier, they're jumping around a lot. Maybe take a shot at it. I think there's, value to it, and Oklahoma City doesn't have the same incentive to win. Maybe you go ahead and, get another one. But, yeah, I think it makes sense to do it. A little surprised it took this long to decide it, but I think it's the right call.
You can follow Brian on X. He is at Brian C. Mahoney. Has done a great job for a long time covering the NBA for the Associated Press. Brian, thanks for the time tonight. Enjoy the game.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.
There you go. Back at you.
Well, two things there. Number one, even if you wanted to do this, he's right. I wouldn't have the guts to do it anyways. And the other thing is, though, but if you asked me last week, I wouldn't be surprised if Denver made the conference finals because they have Joker and Murray.
Not for a second.
So it's like, the timing is horrendous. It's so bizarre.
Professional sports writer Aaron Running an hour ago said it's not like he's a mastermind with the X's and O's anyway. That would be for any person who is a good NBA coach. Are they not going to be pushing each other out of the way to get a chance to work with Nikola Jokic every single game?
Mm-hmm.
And the common narrative after this news came out was how long before Joker asked for a trade. I don't know if he has that in him. I don't know if he's that kind of guy.
I don't think he does that either.
Yeah.
No. But I'm also surprised what the Lakers are doing. That was a good point, too, about chemistry. And we haven't had a lot of time together. But you got the back-to-back and the big ones tomorrow against Dallas.
Well, and by the way, how about this?
It's not impossible they win, but it's more difficult because you just beat them.
They knew that they were probably a player short, speaking of Denver here.
Okay.
Right, before they won their title. What'd they do? They went out and got Aaron Gordon, who's been a great fit. And since then, they're like, no, you can walk. I'm not going to re-sign you. We're going to go get Westbrook, and we're not going to come close to going over the luxury tax.
I remember when that happened, people who cover the league were outraged. It's like, how do you not get Joker help, and how do you not bring Pope back?
I know.
And they criticized ownership and Booth, the GM. You don't have a bench, and you lose a key defensive guy.
Yeah.
And now they both go. And then the owner's worth $19 billion.
Not enough. All right.
Good luck to whoever takes over, though, if you're going to have that mindset and strategy.
Go out and get the VSiN Watch app today. You can watch and listen live and show replays as well. Download the app at the Apple App Store. Get it on Google Play as well. Everything's up there. The VSiN Watch app, MLB coming up next. And look, some heavyweight matchups and maybe another over in this game.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, so one game is over today in Major League Baseball. A couple going on as we speak. The one that is in the books, the Tigers closed as a right around $1.65 favorite today against the Yankees. It was Carrasco against Skubal. That might be one of the biggest pitching mismatches of the entire year. No exaggeration. 5-0 Tigers got them. So the run line, the minus 2.5 runs, all that stuff came in. Skubal, 6 strong, 4 hits, no earned, 6 Ks. Tigers get the win. And bottom of the 6th right now in Cleveland, Guardians and White Sox are scoreless, Johnny. What do you got on this game?
Well, I had Cleveland didn't have a hit. They just got one. So with 2 outs in the 6th, they finally got their first hits. 3 hits in the game.
Oh boy!
And again, though, but it's so damn cold. It's cold in Cleveland. The Cubs game, it's going to be 35 degrees. And then I think they moved the Mets game up too because of weather. And the Mets just took the lead because it's going to get so damn cold tonight in New York. It's 4-2 Mets now.
Cubs game starting at 4:40 Pacific, so 7:40 on the East Coast.
Yeah. And
then it's Taillon versus Corbin.
Here we
who's
go.
Going.
Come on. Let's eat.
So what's the approach? But you just said, is the wind blowing in at Wrigley?
You go against Corbin. Taillon was great at home in September. The last 7 years, Corbin has the most losses, most home runs allowed, most earned runs, and worst opponent's batting average. Happ and Turner have killed him as well with numbers.
Is that bad?
This guy has been, can you believe that? He leads in all those numbers.
Yeah,
right?
when we did those preseason props, like most losses by any pitcher this year, I think the number was 16.5. Could have been higher. Patrick Corbin has either led the league in losses or been in the mix 3 out of the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. And he lingers around. Here, I'm going to get an updated weather report here from Wrigley.
While you're doing that, I also don't know if he's easy to run on, but the Cubs stole 5 bases yesterday. And they continue to swipe bags. So they're playing well. It's a horrible pitcher in Corbin. You have to go back to September last year when Taillon was great, though. But you just total fade brigade with this guy. I can't believe he's still in the league.
It looks like the winds are going to be blowing in from right field and then blowing across as well. So
miserable. Going to be miserable.
It's going to be terrible.
Yep.
What about just Cubs to win the game? Cubs are off to a really nice start here.
Yeah. I'm on it. Yeah, absolutely.
You want to do run line? Or do you want to just do Cubs team total over here? Because there's a chance that the Nationals are going to give you, or I'm sorry, the Rangers are going to give you nothing here.
Yeah, they can't. They're in a funk right now. 184 batting average. Yep. Cubbies are good. It was a good card tonight. Some great pitching matchups and some interesting stuff as well. Tampa Bay now plays 13 in a row at home. Baz is going. He was great against Pittsburgh last time out. If the Padre-A's game gets to the battle of the bullpens, that's like a 1 against a 16. San Diego's got the second best ERA for relievers. The A's have the worst in the American League, and the A's still haven't won a home game. 0-4. They've been outscored 40-13. Went over again yesterday.
Yeah, 5-4.
Here's this will be number 1 here, too, where you can find 8s, you said? Cease against Springs. Every A's home game has gone over.
Let me confirm that right now.
There's 8s out there. There you go. DraftKings got it.
Okay.
8.5 at Circa. So that's over. Mitch is we got to play that. Mitch loves it, and I don't mind Orioles D-backs over 9. It's Morton against Kelly, and both guys got an ERA at 10. So
there you go. You had that one pinpointed, I think, late last week.
Oh, Morton's been terrible. Absolutely. G-Bank up in the ante with up to $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. New customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening get a $250 bonus. And if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account open, you get another $500 bonus, potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now, vsin.com/gbank. Subject to credit approval, vsin.com/gbank. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, so with that total being 8, Cease is on the mound. Probably a big factor why.
I'm not a fan.
Oh, but he's got good numbers.
Yeah.
The other guy is Springs, who has had one good start and one really rough start, and that was last week at home against the Cubs. Did not go well for him there. So if the A's can get around 3 runs in this game, I would be quite confident this game is going to go over.
Yes.
But also that tells me that I should probably bet the Padres. And Cease is about $1.29.
All right.
Right now at Circa. Oh, man. Yeah, this is with a total of 8, and every game has gone over so far, and winds are going to be blowing out a little bit the way it looks tonight in Sacramento during this game. I think you just got to keep going with it. Specifically, if you've been betting this with the idea that Sacramento, the new home park this year and for the next couple of years for the A's, was going to be a launching pad, then you got to ride it again tonight. Much like that had to be the theory last night if you bet them every game against the Cubs last week.
Okay. Yep. I got a couple other ones here. How about Ragans? The Twins are hitting .071 against lefties. Why is he $1.15 at home?
Wow.
This is too much respect for Lopez. The 5 of 70 this year against lefties. Number 2, how about Skeens at home, only $1.30? He's going against Sonny Gray. But first 25 starts, 12-3, a 1.92 ERA, 183 strikeouts, 34 walks. 2 of his 3 career losses to St. Louis, though. As funny as that may be.
Well, do you want to go maybe first 5 instead?
That's a bet, yeah, because I hate the bullpen.
The bullpen's
Well
absolutely
said.
atrocious.
I don't want any part of this bullpen.
You could actually maybe even look at going first 7 innings.
He's won 45 at Circa. Okay, he's $1.45 first 5 here at Circa.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'll add on to that then. The Braves and the Phillies. I'm going to call this a big series for the Braves.
Yeah, what are they, 1-9? 1-8?
They might be,
Well,
I mean, by the end of the Masters, it might be 10 games out of the NL East.
Yeah.
So
this is a big series.
And it's an amazing pitching matchup tonight, right?
Yep.
This game, if you're going to have multiple games on tonight watching, I think this one should be one of them. It's Wheeler against Chris Sale. And Sale right now at Circa is minus 111. Zach Wheeler has absolutely phenomenal numbers against this current Braves lineup that he's going to face tonight. Lights out. He's like Cy Young going against this team. So will that continue? History says it probably will. And then Sale has been solid, 12 Ks to 1 walk so far on the year, I believe, are the numbers with him. Could also maybe look at a first 5 under in this game, although the total here, it has to be 7. I think that's the exact right number, but maybe you get like a 1-0 game after 5 innings and that under cashes there between these two.
Okay.
The Wheeler numbers against Atlanta are just, it's almost video game stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's been so good.
Mm-hmm.
And something just happened in the Mets game. They lead 8-2. They broke it open. That was 2-2. Am I behind here? Is it only 6-2? I might be behind here a minute too. It's 6-2. Okay.
I think it was a misplay in the outfield.
Nimmo doubled. Okay.
Oh, that made it 4-2.
Yep. My app is way behind then, I guess. Okay. All right. End of 5 right now. But yeah, they have taken a 6-2 lead with 4 runs there in the bottom of the 5th against Miami.
Marte came through.
Did he?
What do you know about this kid with the Angels? Logan O'Hoppe, am I pronouncing that right? He has 5 home runs already?
Well,
and 9 RBIs?
He's had flashes in previous years of being a guy that might be pretty decent, but I'm not going to buy into it anything long-term for him at all. I think the kid that you want to be looking at for the Angels is this Paris kid who, unfortunately, does not qualify for the American League Rookie of the Year. He's off to a blazing hot start. And when the season first started, he had I think it was 2 stolen bases already. I could not even find him listed anywhere on the odds board to steal a base. But his numbers on the year are off to, he's off to a great start here early on, but the Angels are getting Shane Baz tonight. And the Rays at home are laying $170 in that range here.
As I mentioned, he was great against Pittsburgh, too. Okay. Yep. And what was the other game? Alvarez's own Castillo going back. 3 bombs, 8 of 17.
8 of 17, huh?
Total of 7. Yep.
That's a really good pitching matchup there.
Is it Valdez?
Yeah, it is.
It's Valdez against Castillo. Okay.
And the Mariners are laying a price here in this game. Would you be intrigued at all by the Astros to win the game?
Yeah, that was a big win last night, but come from behind. But I don't trust Castillo.
Tell you what.
Valdez has been shaky, though, too.
Yeah. Gilbert was good again last night.
Mm-hmm.
He only went 5 2/3, but he struck out 7. He gave up basically nothing. He walked a couple. There was a home run in there, but that was the only earned run that he had. He's down to 5-1 to win the American League Cy Young at some spots. And Hunter Green is sitting at 13-1. He was brilliant again last night for the Reds.
Shut down the Giants. That was well done.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I put my props? There was some good stuff. Yeah. Wheeler is 7-1. Most strikeouts. Skubal was 8. Skeens 9. What a night for this prop, right? The Daily K's. And Kelly's 15. Some big Valdez in that range, too. Castillo. Baz is 18. I probably want more. Crochet, 15. Not bad.
Okay.
Crochet goes tonight.
What's your boy Morton?
My boy Morton. Well, he did have 10 and 5 innings.
That's right.
I didn't even look at him.
He's got to be a monster number, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, he's way down the list.
Watch, it'll be 11 Ks and 8 earned runs tonight, too.
He could do that.
Up next, we'll touch on the Masters, give you bets that we've made to this point. I like betting this event over the course of the year, but I've needed to dial it back over the years. I'll explain why next here on VSiN.